Coming in with a whopping 1,100 meters per second muzzle velocity, the Mini Scout has to be one of, if not the best sniper in all of Battlefield 6. And in today's video, I'm talking about the best build for the weapon, the best playstyle, and everything you need to know about the Mini Scout. So if you're a fan of sniping, especially in Battlefield 6, then I highly encourage you to check out this video. But without further ado, I hope you sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. First and foremost, the biggest question I get asked is, Duck, how do you obtain the Mini Scout? I see people using it all the time and it's just not there. How do I unlock it? Well, to unlock it, if you're new to the game or you're playing for the free weekend, it's from the Battle Pass. And on the Battle Pass, it's the Soldiers of Fortune. You activate this list, and it's going to be towards the end of the tier list, unfortunately. So it does take a little while to unlock the Mini Scout, but let me tell you, unlocking it is well worth it. Even in its base kit or its base weapon build, this gun is absolutely insane. If you want to see how truly insane it is, I highly encourage you to check out my Twitch, where I stream practically every day. I would love to have you around, so definitely check it out. So what exactly is the Mini Scout? Well, the Mini Scout is basically a hybrid between sort of a marksman rifle and a lightweight sniper. Now it trades one-shot body damage for insane mobility, quick ADS speed, faster chamber speed, and ridiculously consistent at medium range. I like to think of it as the gun for players who want sniper precision without necessarily the sluggish sniper feel. Now let's move on to the damage profile and effective range. Now this weapon does not one-shot to the body. Unlike most snipers in this game, this weapon does not have that sweet spot in quotation marks. You're playing more of a precision follow-up shot weapon, if that makes sense. And headshots will get one-hit kills at practically most ranges. For body shots, it's about 2 to 3 shots depending on the distance and enemy HP. And honestly, its effective range is about 0 to about 200-ish meters is where it absolutely destroys players at. If you go anywhere beyond that 200-ish meter sight line, it's probably not the best option of the type of sniper you want to be using. If you're going for those super long shots, I would then recommend a sniper like the PSR or the M2010, the first sniper. The Mini Scout honestly excels when you're repositioning constantly and playing rooftops, flanking angles, and farming distracted targets. Now, why does the Mini Scout work so well? Well, this rifle dominates because of tempo. Most snipers force you to fully commit to a position. Slow ADS time, slow handling, big punishment for missing, but the Mini Scout flips that. Instead, you get faster ADS than every long sniper, faster movement when scoped, faster follow-up shots, faster swap speed, and enough damage to punish instantly with headshots. This means you win fights by peeking quicker than the enemy scopes in. What are your best situations to use the Mini Scout? You want to use it when you're playing high mobility. You're going for super aggressive playstyle. It's honestly my preferred playstyle. It's essentially just W-keying at enemies with the Mini Scout or any other sniper and just going for a high risk, high reward type of plays. I play sniper aggressively because that's just how I like to play the game. It offers a lot of adrenaline because you're up close in the face, and if you miss that one crucial shot, you're probably gonna die, but if you land that one shot, then it's super satisfying and you get rewarded by living longer. But you also want to be using the sniper to farm infantry on rooftops and head glitches, and you're constantly repositioning or flanking. And you also want to use it when you want a sniper that feels like a DMR on steroids. However, for the most part, you want to avoid it when you're playing at extremely long ranges. Now, this is only for when you're really playing Conquest on Liberation Peak, or you're playing Conquest in general. You're probably not going to be wanting to run the Mini Scout because those sightlines are often extremely long. Now, another reason why you might not want to use it is maybe you need that consistent one-hit body shots. Maybe you need that sweet spot crutch. If you need that, then this sniper unfortunately is not for you. With the general introduction of how the Mini Scout works, let's finally talk about the build. Now, when it comes to making builds for weapons in Battlefield 6, before we dive into the builds, you have to understand a couple things. First off is preference. This build is in my preference or my view. This is what I feel is the best sniper and or build for said weapon. And the second thing is you can change the build however you want to fit your own needs. If you want iron sights, if you want a 10x, whatever it may be, you can freely change that. I just give a baseline of what I prefer and how I play the sniper, and you can adjust it accordingly. I just wanted to quickly mention that. Now let's actually talk about the build. Congratulations, you made it to the building part of the video, so let's talk about it. Yes, I have my gun at level 138 because I love the mini scout. This is probably my favorite sniper. On base, you get the flash hider, basic barrel, you get the standard magazine, you get the standard bullets, and you get the 1 to 6x variable zoom. And here's a look at our stats. As you can see, we're sitting around, 880 meters per second of muzzle velocity, and we're going to need that up. So the first thing when it comes to building this weapon is going to your barrel, and once you have the extended barrel, you slap that on, because this makes your muzzle velocity 1,100 meters a second, which is absolutely insane. This makes your shots get to the target at insane speeds. You can pretty much laser beam anyone from 0 to 200-ish meters without really having to change your zeroing. From there, we're going to be going to our suppressor. A normal suppressor, there's no negatives or downsides to a suppressor, and it is highly needed in a game like Battlefield 6. So highly encourage you to unlock this as quickly as possible. From there, I'm actually going to go ahead and say you do not need a rangefinder, because your engagements, if you're playing Breakthrough or any of the smaller-ish game modes, not Conquest, if you're playing Breakthrough or any of the other game modes, then you don't need the rangefinder. You're not going to be taking engagements over 200 meters in any of those maps. If you're playing Conquest, then you can think about putting it on, but I often don't go for it because sometimes when you aim at a target, the rangefinder will jump up to 1,000 meters and you might miss your shot. So just don't put it on, at least in my opinion. And for whatever reason, you get a ton of points on the mini scout, and the attachments are not that expensive, which is pretty cool, so you can really deck this thing out. For an underbarrel, typically I opt for the fully angled, because you get a lot more mobility. If I take this off, you can see I gain a little bit more mobility and I get some more ADS time in, so I just slap that on. You have other options, but this is probably going to be your best bet. Yes, you could get more with the stubby, but we want to save our rest of our points for just a little bit longer. Moving on, we come to our optic accessory. Now, the gun already has a built-in ADS bolt, so you don't need the ADS bolt for this gun. What you can do instead is put on the anti-glare, which I think is a very much needed attachment in this game for snipers. For the most part, especially if you're going for like mid to close range sniping, very useful. From there, the only scopes I really recommend for a gun like this is the LERT 8X, because it is the most clean looking 8X, as you can see, super clean. And then if we return, I also recommend for 6X the SSDS, because again, this is going to be your super clean 6X. And for reference, if I put on, let's say, the NFX 8X, this is what it looks like. It takes a little bit too much of the screen. You can't really see your target too well. That's why I always say try to go for the LERT. It takes a while to unlock it, unfortunately, in this game, but that's just how it is. If you want to go for close range snipes, if you want to play the game super aggressively, then I would recommend the ACOG, which is pretty nice as well. But from there, we come back, let's just slap on the 8X for aesthetics. We still have some more points left. We have 30 points to be exact. What I typically like to do is, originally I didn't do this because I always thought the enemies can see you so much better, but I honestly just slap on the 120 milliwatt blue laser because you get more mobility and more hip fire. That means you can move around the map a lot faster. You can just be a lot more nimble. And even though you might be a little bit easier to see because of the shine, I think it's just worth it because you have those 30 extra points. You don't necessarily need the anti-glare. You don't necessarily need the rangefinder. If you want the rangefinder, you can just turn it down to the regular red laser, and then you can slap on the rangefinder if you want. Again, personally, I don't like the rangefinder because I always think it kind of bugs out a little bit and doesn't always work. So I think it's just worth using the blue laser instead. You could also change the laser You could go down and you can put on a different type of magazine if you want to. But again, I just go with the blue laser. That's what I personally like. It's a preference. And that's essentially my probably best build for this gun in my opinion. I think it's probably one of, if not the best build, but again, everything's from my own view. And you can let me know your own favorite build in the comments down below of what builds you like. There's nothing wrong with having your own favorite build. This is what I like. Maybe you like something different. So again, let me know in the comments down below.